for panic at the pump. People will be fuming when they hear this, but they should probably start rushing to the gas stations and filling up their tanks while prices are still somewhat reasonable. Because national reserves of all types of oil-based fuels, including gasoline, diesel, and heating oil, have been depleted and could run out in less than a month. According to a recent letter released by the Energy Information Administration, that's sparking fears of shortages and rising prices starting in the next couple of weeks. In fact, some states are already experiencing gas shortages and seeing prices jump by 30% in a single week. The trend is rapidly spreading all over America, worrying authorities, industry executives, and refineries, which are already operating at 100% capacity, but still can't fulfill the demand. The chaos that will erupt all over the nation when fuel prices double or triple from current levels is going to push millions of people over the edge. This is just the beginning of an unprecedented energy crisis, and the fact that domestic supplies of energy are collapsing before the winter even begins is truly alarming. We're about to expose some shocking numbers, stats, and forecasts, so stay tuned with us. Support our work with a thumbs up in this video.
Before I get on with this video, I want to give all praise to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Barakathum to you hopefully elect out there. And, you know, pretty much the Spirit was, I was compelled through the Spirit to just do a video based off this video. You know, the epic economist, you know, does one of many videos where he brings out a lot of useful information. But like I said, I watched this video, and you know, because hey, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, he's getting ready to bring these plagues to Babylon the Great, while everyone's distracted, all right, and caught up in, like the scriptures go into, the cares of this life. Everyone's in that normalcy by your spirit, okay? And people thinking that, you know, things are going to, quote unquote, get back to normal. Well, hey, we understand Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, man. Like I said, he's getting ready to bring these plagues, you know. And I want to start off with this real quick in 2 Ezra 16 and 18. It says, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? And once again, to you elect out there, amen, you know, to the hopefully elect, may Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai be with us. You know, to the hopefully elect, may Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai be with us, man, because the only thing that's going to sustain us is the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai and his mercy. You know, because I'm sure I'm speaking for others, because hey, as I said, man, this is we're in the beginning stages of all hell, all chaos breaking loose here in America. You know, because again, watching this video, he mentioned how basically when this gas starts to go up, because he's pretty much touching on this diesel shortage, which this diesel shortage, when the diesel runs out, you know, because everything in this society basically depends on diesel. It depends on that diesel, man. So when there's no diesel, hey, you know, and like I said, he's going to pretty much go into it in this video. But you see, again, we're in the beginning stages, man, of just total chaos. Like I was saying, because I know me personally, man. Hey, I'm already, brothers, a lot of us were already starting to feel the squeeze on a lot of things, man, with the price of everything going up. And, you know, it's getting tough, man. And I've made this statement before, and I got to continue to remind myself that, hey, you know, starting with the apostles and elders and on them and on down, We've been talking that talk. We've been telling people what's going to happen. Famines are coming. Or, they are being orchestrated. More and more, these shelves are becoming bare. And like I said, with this inflation, because we're pretty much as they try to butter it up, man, we're already pretty much in a depression or a recession at best, or excuse me, at worst, a recession at worst, you see. And hey, it's only going to get worse, like we've been saying, man. So we've been talking that talk where, hey, we're coming into that time where, hey, we're going to have to walk the walk, man, because we're going to live through this, you know. So again, this is why we're going to need the spirit of Yahweh Shemashah to be with us. But hey, this is just the beginning, you know. People think that, and they were saying this. They were saying how ever since this pandemic started back in 2020, up until now, that these have been the worst years that America's seen. Well, hey, you think that was bad, man? We haven't seen anything yet. We haven't seen anything yet, man. The Lord is barely getting started. You see? So I'm going to read it one more time. 2 Ezra 16 and 18. The beginning of sorrows, as brother said, get comfortable with getting uncomfortable. Because the Lord, he's taking that which is comfortable, he's stripping it from everyone. And being that, as the scriptures describe this America as a city that dwells carelessly, you see, these people are comfortable. They're spoon-fed, proud, you see, and once those comforts are taken away from them, hey, they're going to act out like a spoiled child, man, because they're not used to being uncomfortable. They're not used to discomfort. So again, which if you're paying attention, gas prices, they're starting to go back up 10 cents, 15 cents here and there, and they're only going to continue to go up, as we've said. Again, people were comfortable, laid back, laxative, and hey, I told you, hey, wait until that gas tax holiday runs out, which it did October 31st, while everyone was out, celebrating that wicked holiday known as Halloween. All right. Hey, that's when that gas tax ended, and gas has been going up here and there, a couple of cents here and there, and it's going to continue to go up. Now we're in the time of these midterm elections. You see, which, just me personally speaking as a man, I think things are gonna, because I think that they've been trying to just keep things under the radar until after these elections. But after these elections, hey, I believe that things are really gonna ramp up, man. Things are really gonna happen. They just been trying to keep it cool because of these elections. But after these elections, man, I'm expecting to, just for things to really turn up. You see, but again, it said the beginning of sorrows and great mournings. More homelessness is on the rise. You see, crime is at an all-time high. It's just that the tension is at an all-time high. These people, man, they're getting ready to snap. You can see it on these people's faces, man. You can read their spirit, man. These people, they're getting ready to snap. And I always say, America is just one not so major event away from just this thing just blowing over, because America's economy is fragile, man. America's weak, you see, and all it takes is just that one event, and again, it doesn't have to be so major, it's just one event, man, for this thing to blow over and for people to act out. And just to put this out there, because hey, with these elections, that can, that could be the seal deal, the deal sealer. We'll have to wait and see. But it says the beginning of famine and great death. So like I said, this whole supply chain crisis that's going on, right? Everything that we've been reporting on ever since this pandemic started, from the cargo ships being held off on the coast, from the trucking strikes, the railroad strikes. All right. All these things help maintain the society. Well, to further add on to this famine, hey, again, with the diesel runs out, this is what again, everything depends on that diesel fuel. So once that diesel runs out, man, hey, you know, not only is there going to be you know, because America's rapidly heading into inflationary stage, man. Again, we're already in an inflationary stage, but soon everything's going to be hyperinflated. You see, so not only that, but again with this diesel shortage, because again everything depends on that diesel fuel. And once that diesel runs out, well, these goods are not going to be able to make it to these supermarkets. So that's going to put a pressure on the demand. All right. So not only are we going to see hyperinflated products, but a scarcity of it. Because more and more are these shelves going to be bare. Because again, these products are not getting to these stores, these supermarkets and whatnot. You see, this is just the beginning, man. Because again, one thing's going to lead to another, and hey, being that these people are because they're not. What's getting ready to happen? What's already happening? But what's getting ready to happen? These people they're not ready for it because they're used to being comfortable. You know, as I mentioned, it says the beginning of wars and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. All right, the beginning of very bad times, man. Dark days are in store for America. It says, what shall I do when these evils shall come? And there's not anything we're going to be able to do. This is why we are going to need the Spirit of Yahweh Shemashai to be with us again, to the hopefully elect. May the Lord be with us. Because a lot of us are already feeling the squeeze, man. We're already feeling the pinch. But I'm going to go ahead with this video.
Don't forget to subscribe. Mansfield Energy is issuing a code red alert on upcoming fuel shortages that are about to hit the entire country in less than 25 days. The U.S. fuel market is facing a nightmare scenario.
Now, mind you, this report about the diesel shortage there's only 25 days left. This came out back in October, I believe around October 24th, 25th. So that was already a couple of weeks ago. So we're not so far. We're not so far from this.
With dwindling supplies, drought on the Mississippi River pushing more product to rail and truck, and
that's another thing, man. With these rivers drying up, water supplies drying up, it's going to put a further pressure on the demand.
Market is facing a nightmare scenario with dwindling supplies, drought on the Mississippi River pushing more product to rail and truck, and a looming rail strike leading to a dramatic surge in freight prices that is expected to continue. The Energy Information Administration reported that our national reserves of gasoline, diesel, and heating oil are at an unacceptably low level and can drop to zero before the end of the month. The crisis is getting worse by the day, EIA said, urging authorities to take swift action to prevent a total collapse of energy reserves. CNBC is calling it a perfect storm, with low inventories combining with rising demand ahead of the winter, which is a recipe for even higher prices, spilling out across industries and hitting consumers already emptying pockets. EIA data shows that while gasoline reserves reached the lowest point since 2008, U.S. diesel reserves have never been so low since 1951. The agency also noted that the problem isn't that refiners aren't trying to ramp up production. They're operating at 102.5% capacity since October. But the market was already strained due to the permanent shutdown of several refining plants during the pandemic and the fact that since February, the federal government has been exporting massive amounts of energy supplies produced in the U.S. to other countries, leaving our domestic reserves at perilously low levels. According to the global head of energy analysis at Opus, Tom Klotzer, between now and the end of November, if we don't build inventories, the wolf will be at the door, and it will look like a big, ugly wolf if it's a cold winter. Steady supplies and lower gas prices could actually decide the midterms. After reaching a summer peak, gas prices declined for about 100 consecutive days, boosting the government's approval rating. But with over 70% of Americans citing inflation as their main concern, and 95% worried about gasoline prices, the administration is scrambling to do everything it can to keep prices low for the time being. However,
For the time being, because again, before these elections, they were able to keep the gas down, like you mentioned, keep the gas prices down for a time. But now that this, like I said, just speaking as a man, come after these elections, hey, I really do think that things are really gonna ramp up, man. But again, it's just a matter of waiting and seeing.
experts say we shouldn't expect that trend to last very long. In fact, in October, prices started to spike again while gas shortages emerged in several eastern states. So now is the time to start filling up our tanks and stocking up on gas while it's still available and we can still afford it, because this crisis is rapidly spiraling out of control, and it isn't even winter yet. Many cities in California have just seen brand new all-time record highs last week. In the Los Angeles and Long Beach area, prices reached $6.46 per gallon. In Orange County, they jumped to $6.42. Riverside County, drivers were paying $6.33 per gallon. Meanwhile, gasoline shortages are rippling across the East Coast and pushing up pump prices from New York to Maine. In several counties, prices climbed above the $4 mark, rising by 30% in a single week, adding roughly 38 to 42 cents per gallon. Local reports reveal that fuel terminals in the region are running out of fuel as imports slow amid the global energy crisis. Even though the United States is a major gasoline producer, much of the fuel made on the Gulf Coast is exported to overseas markets, with infrastructure constraints leaving the East Coast reliant on imports from other countries. But those imports have been steadily shrinking since the Ukraine crisis broke out and disrupted energy supplies across Europe and rerouted flows elsewhere. Right now, gasoline and blending component shipments into New York are 25% lower than they were in November 2021, according to Vortex data compiled by Bloomberg, which also showed that supplies in the New York Harbor region are at the lowest in a decade for this time of year. At the same time, diesel prices are soaring again, and shortages are hitting coast to coast. The national average price for diesel today is $5.32 per gallon and is expected to go up 15 to 20 cents.
At Cece's Buffet, it's all you can eat pizza, pasta, and more, all for one low price.
32 cents per gallon and is expected to go up 15 to 20 cents in the next few weeks, said Andy Lipow, president of Lipow Oil Associates, LLC. In the New York and New England markets, diesel inventories are facing an acute crisis, down over 50% since last year and at the lowest level since 1990, according to Lipow. The Midwest is also seeing supplies collapse, pushing up costs for farmers. In visiting with a number of farmers, the consensus, of course, is that diesel costs are one more incursion into profitability, said Mike Steenhoek, the executive director of the Soy Transportation Coalition. As far as getting supplies, it looks like those areas most dependent upon the Mississippi River are experiencing the biggest challenge. A couple of farmers told me diesel supply via their local vendor is day-to-day. The problem is aggravating to the point of prompting a major fuel supply and logistics company to raise a red flag on upcoming nationwide fuel shortages. Last Friday, Mansfield Energy issued a warning stating there was a developing fuel shortage in the country that could be generated from poor pipeline shipping economies and a historically low supply of fuel reserves. Poor pipeline shipping economics and historically low fuel inventories are combining to cause shortages in various markets throughout the country, the company said. Some of the other states that are expected to experience serious effects of the shortage in the next few weeks include Maryland, Virginia, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina, and South Carolina. Because conditions are rapidly devolving and market economics are changing significantly each day, Mansfield is moving to alert level 4 to address market volatility. Mansfield's press state.
So, again, this is where it gets crucial. All right? Because like I said, I'm going to read it. Because conditions are rapidly devolving and market economics are changing significantly each day, Mansfield is moving to alert level 4 to address market volatility. So you see, with this diesel shortage is going to affect, again, the prices that we see in the supermarkets. All right? Because again, everything depends on that diesel fuel. Once the diesel runs out, man, this is going to affect how the products that we consume every day, it is going to affect the products that we consume every day. All right? Because the ones that are delivering the products to these supermarkets, well, if there's no fuel, diesel fuel, or if it gets to a point where it's too high, too much, for one, that's going to cause a lot of, people to say to hell with it. And, as far as the truckers and the ones that are transporting the, goods to the supermarkets, all right, as well as the railroads, mentioned that, with the railroad strikes, or I'll say the looming railroad strikes, all right, which that's another key and crucial element to sustaining this economy, all right. You see, because again, everything's going to be affected by this. The construction, which will go into the infrastructure of America. You see, because, the construction, all the machines and stuff, and they use to, for the infrastructure, that depends on the diesel. So the infrastructure is going to be affected. Everything's going to be touched by this diesel shortage, especially if it runs out. You see? But I'm going to play some more.
Said. The company continued. Mansfield is also moving the Southeast to code red, requesting 72-hour notice for deliveries when possible to ensure fuel and freight can be secured at economical levels. If people think a shortage of gasoline is already distressing, it's because they can't fully grasp the chaos that would emerge all over the nation due to a worsening shortage of diesel.
Exactly.
With diesel supplies collapsing, virtually all of our trains, trucks, and ships would stop running, which means that the delivery of pretty much everything we buy at our stores and supermarkets that comes to us via trains, trucks, and ships would be halted.
Exactly.
So the fact that inventories can collapse in less than a month is a really big deal. Diesel is the fuel that powers the economy, explains Patrick DeHaan, head of petroleum analysis at Gas Buddy. Higher prices are certainly going to translate into more expensive goods, he said, since these higher fuel costs will be passed along to consumers, especially at the grocery store, the hardware store, anywhere you shop. On top of everything else that's going wrong, shall we add a heating oil shortage and a nationwide natural gas shortage to the equation? Tom Klotzer also highlighted that the shortage of diesel in the U.S. will aggravate the global shortage of heating oil, which is currently at the lowest point they've been since 1980.
So that was pretty much the point that I wanted to get. Because again, people don't know the significance of a diesel shortage, or if the diesel runs out completely, it's going to affect everything that we consume, everything that we buy in the supermarkets, which is going to lead to chaos. All right, because like I mentioned, not only are we going to see the price of everything go up, but the fact that the products are not getting to these supermarkets as it is, these supplies are going to be, the supplies in these stores are going to be very limited. So we're going to see fights break out, people killing one another over the last loaf of bread that's already $50, $100. You see, this is what people aren't taking into consideration. You see, because everything depends on that diesel. I'm going to read this in Habakkuk 3:17. It says, although the fig tree shall not blossom, neither shall fruit be in the vines, and the labor of the olive shall fail, and the field shall yield no meat. So a scarcity of food and products in these supermarkets, man. All right, these supermarkets, man, they're gonna become more and more bare, like I mentioned. More and more empty shelves. This is what we can be prepared for. If the products aren't getting to these supermarkets, well, this is what we can see. This is what we're gonna start to see. Like, it says a flock shall be cut off from the fold, and there shall be no herd in the stall. So there's not going to be any food, man, any food or supplies in these supermarkets. You see, this is the significance of this diesel shortage and what it can cause. All right. On top of, like I said, people fighting over the last loaf of bread that's already $50, man, 60, 70, 80, $100, hyperinflated. Because if I'm not mistaken, I believe the supermarkets, man, they only have I think they say 3 days worth of supplies. Well, hey, man, and it's bad enough, because right now we got this hurricane about to hit, and hey, people are panic buying and stuff. It's about to get crazy out here, man. It's about to get crazy. But I'm gonna play some more of this, and I got one more preset.
Too. And we've added about 3.4 billion people in that time, he said. The distillate fuel crunch also threatens to make inflation even worse, as they make consumer goods and heating bills even more expensive. Households who rely on heating oil for space heating will be paying hundreds of dollars more this winter compared to last winter, where prices are set to rise by nearly 1/3, according to EIA in its winter fuels outlook released in October. Our forecast for heating oil margins this winter reflects price pressures that have currently been affecting the U.S. distillate market, including low inventories, low imports, and limited refining capacity.
So that was pretty much the point. All right. Because, again, the trucks, railroads, all these, the transportation that transports these goods to the supermarkets, once that diesel runs out or it gets to a point where it's unaffordable, because the cost of diesel, the more it goes up, the more it's going to put a strain on the transport, these transporters transporting these goods to these supermarkets. And like I said, a lot of them are just going to get to a point where it's just say, it's going to get unbearable, and they're just going to say the hell with it, man. And, They're, you know, a lot of people, a lot of these people, they're just gonna, you know, just stop going to work. You know, which that's another, you know, thing in itself, dealing with the mass layoffs, the mass job layoffs that's coming. You know, but let me get this in Zechariah chapter 8, starting at verse 10. It says, "For before these days there was no hire for man, nor any hire for beasts. Neither was there any peace to him that went out or came in because of the affliction." All right. Hey, like I read in 2nd Ezra 16:80, the beginning of evils, the beginning of very bad times, man. The time of affliction is it's at hand. And, you know, like I said, people just don't understand what this diesel shortage, what it can lead to, man. Because one thing will lead to another. No food on the shelves. Like I keep saying, using the example of people fighting over the last loaf of bread that's already hyperinflated, killing one another. Hey, we saw a small example of that a couple of years ago with the whole, what was it, Popeyes, with the whole new chicken sandwiches. You know, people were literally killing each other over these stupid chicken sandwiches. Well, what are you gonna do, you know, when there's no food, man? Fighting over, you know, hey, because I mentioned this in a video a few days ago about how, hey, again, what people take for granted now, hey, is going to become a luxury in that day. A pack of ketchup, that's going to be, you know, that's going to be something of luxury in the days to come, man. The time to come. You know, a pack of ketchup, man. That's going to be a luxury in that day. And people are going to be fighting each other over that last pack of ketchup. Believe it or not, people are going to be fighting over that last pack of ketchup. You see, that's how bad it's going to be out here, man. That's why I said neither was there any peace to him that went out or came in because of the affliction, man. So that's how bad it's going to be, man. It's not going to be, hey, you know, going out looking for food and hey, man, you might not make it back. You might not make it back home or wherever you're dwelling at, you know, wherever you're at. Because it's going to be unsafe out here, man. These people are about to be turned into brute beasts. It's going to be a dog-eat-dog world. Just lawlessness. You see? With just completely without order. Everyone's just going to be fending for themselves. Hey, man, you women, hey, a lot of you women, man, again, you're comfortable now, but, you know, as some of us have been saying, you could do bad all by yourself. Well, hey, keep that same energy. Because when shit gets real out here, man, hey, don't expect the man in that day, hey, ain't nobody got time to be playing Captain Save-A-Ho. Everyone's going to be trying to, you know, get it how they can get it. And hey, a lot of you women are going to end up becoming a spoil anyways, man. Because hey, you know, a lot of these dudes, they're deprived. You know, and like I said, people just gonna be getting it how they can get it, and a lot of you women are just gonna get got, man. You're just gonna be taken, and there's nothing you can be able to do about it. These dudes, they just gonna love them. They just gonna take the box. Cause hey, we're not gonna have no police in that time. You see, you know, hey, trying to call 911, man, and hey, it's gonna go straight to dial tone. You know, it's gonna be out of service. That's how bad it's gonna be. It's going to be real unsafe out here, man. But it says, "For I will set all men, every one against his neighbor." Because again, that's how bad it's going to be. Hey, friends are going to become foes. Neighbors are going to turn on one another. It's just going to be chaos, man. Everyone's just going to be trying to get it how they can get it. It's going to be, everyone's going to have to fend for themselves in that day, man. You see? But this is the result of all these things could you know come out of these diesel shortages, man. You see, so this is the significance. One thing can lead to another. One thing will lead to another, because we know it's just a matter of time. You know, we just don't know how it's going to play out. Well, hey, this diesel shortage, hey, this could be one of those things that, hey, you know, sparks it off. You know, like I said, you just have to ultimately wait and see how the Lord plays this out. But hey, you know, we got to take these things into consideration. All right, it's going to get bad out here, man. And again, this is why we are going to need the Spirit of Yahweh Shai to be with us, because we're not going to make it on our own accord, man. you know. But that was pretty much the point. Lord willing, this was edifying, giving all praise to Yahweh Bashim Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Yahweh Bashim Shai, Barakathum, to you hopefully elect. To you only, you hopefully elect. All right. Lord willing, until next time, Shalom.